Thanks for tuning in to High on Horror. I'm Drew.
And I'm John. This episode and every future episode is dedicated to all the horror hounds and smokers out there who want to expand their knowledge of the genre and have a good time.
Welcome back to the show. On today's episode, we're diving into a review of Sinners, a title we've been eagerly anticipating. Plus, we'll break down the newly released trailer for The Conjuring Last Rites, and we've got exciting news on Evil Dead Burns, which just landed a theatrical release date. All that and more coming up on High on Horror. Interviews, reviews, and the latest news all rolled into one.
All right, it's time for Strain Wreck, the segment of our show where we discuss which strain we're getting wrecked on. On this week, I got us some of that Neapolitan space cream.
I don't think we've done that one before.
I don't know. We might have. It's been a while. So
I know we were going over ones that we might have done and might not have done, but I don't remember space
over
cream.
The next 3 weeks, if we've already done it, just for the people that didn't hear it the other weeks.
Neapolitan space cream. Okay.
It is it's done by Grow West, which you always hear that name, and I think of Stuff Out West, but it's a Maryland company.
Yeah, right. I know that,
but Neapolitan Space Cream is a sativa-leaning hybrid of MK Ultra and the Black lineage. I've never heard of the Black. I've heard of MK Ultra. Indulge in the sweet aroma of this strain, a combination of earthy, pungent grapes. Or no, earthy, pungent. I think somebody didn't use the commas here, because it's listed as earthy, pungent, grape, berries, and sweet spice. Transport yourself to a cosmic ice cream dream whenever you desire, day or night. This strain contains...
Whenever you desire, I love it. Okay.
The strain contains several terpenes, including limonene, transcaraphyllene, and linalool. I can never say that one. Linalool. Our premium flower is expertly hand-trimmed to respect the integrity of the bud and packaged in recyclable, reusable tins to produce potency, or preserve potency. I have it in a Ziploc bag, so I don't know what reusable tins they're talking about, but it doesn't have any reviews here on Leafly, so...
no dry mouth?
Well, I mean, it doesn't even have... doesn't have anything. Doesn't even give you, like, the effects. I mean, it's got, apparently, a combination of earthy pungent. Earthy pungent, I've never heard that described as a
good thing.
Aroma.
Right.
I've heard of earthy and pungent, but not earthy pungent.
Earthy pungent, yeah.
Grape, berries, and sweet spices. So it smells like fucking everything, apparently, according to Grow West.
Well, while you get some of that packed up, I guess. First thing I wanted to bring up is I wanted to show and talk about this The House of the Devil release, the Ty West film. I wanted to bring this up because this is a new release by Second Sight. This is available only if you have players that can, 4K players and Blu-ray players that can play movies in the UK. It's available to buy in the US, but it's not something you can really watch over here unless your players really jailbroken to do so. But it's a great release. I'm going to post about it on the Instagram. I just wanted to show this to you real quick because I know that Ty West is a Wilmington, a Delaware relative.
Yeah.
And, it's cool to see his movies get the big time hard box. It's got, a ton of bonus features, a bunch of new interviews, lobby cards, a book. I think it's like a 100-page book or something like that.
I always hate these books because I want to look at them. But I'm like, the second I look at a page for 2 seconds, like the book's already like bent back.
I know. It's especially trying to read them. You're almost like trying to not hold the book open because you don't want to crease the spine, But it's funny because I wanted to tell you a story that I saw.
The packaging's nice on that.
I like the cover a lot.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really funny because Ty West, I have to share the story with you. In an interview on this set, he did a recent interview where he was talking about how he made House of the Devil and why he made House of the Devil, and it was just the funniest fucking thing to me because he just basically said he got out of college, it was broke, was living in an apartment in Delaware, was bored and had nothing to do, so he wrote a movie about someone who was broke and bored and had nothing to do, and they were trying to get out of their situation. And I'm like, damn, so Ty West got famous off making a movie about how he was bored and stuck in Delaware and just basically inserted a satanic cult into it. I mean, that's Delaware for you.
That's funny you bring that up because I was just talking about this with somebody about Jon Favreau, and we were talking about Jon Favreau. Have you seen the movie Swingers?
Of course.
That's basically his story of when he first moved to Hollywood.
Oh shit, yeah.
Him,
I
it's
didn't know
what
that.
him. I know Vince Vaughn and it's Ron Livingston, I think. And the funny thing is, like, everybody knows Favreau and Vaughn is like really good friends.
Yeah.
Like John Favreau was like, when I first met Vince Vaughn, I did not like him.
Oh shit.
Like he was just so loud and like boisterous. He was like, I just didn't want to be around him. But like, yeah, Swingers is a lot of like his story of when he first came to Hollywood, like not knowing anybody out there, trying to make friends.
I did not know
And that like all the swing music, that's like the clubs they hung out at and stuff. But it was funny he brought up Ty West, just like, well, this is my situation. Let me make a movie about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm just stuck in Delaware, bored and broke, and nothing to do. And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing in Delaware ever. Like that's why when people say they moved
Rex
to
Manning
Delaware, when people say they moved to Delaware, I'm like, why?
right?
Why? You know. So did you watch the new Conjuring trailer, or do we need to take a little quick break, real quick?
Oh, wasn't that on the? I feel like I don't vividly remember it, but I feel like I've seen it.
Okay. All right.
Because I think it was on for trailer for Sinners, right?
Well, it just came out like 2 days ago.
Okay, then
It just
maybe
came
not.
out. All right.
Then maybe I haven't seen it. Maybe we should
Okay.
pause here.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break.
All right, so we jumped ahead in time. We're back. Yeah, that trailer looks pretty good. I'm just worried that the trailer is going to make the rest of the movie a letdown, and that's like we were talking about Sinners and trailers ruining stuff in movies, and I just have that worry that that's probably the best part of the movie.
We're giving away the best jump scares,
Yeah.
at the very least. Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen the trailer, I need to check it out. Conjuring: The Last Rites is set to hit theaters on September 5th, accompanied by a gripping new trailer that suggests a darker, more compelling chapter than The Devil Made Me Do It. I personally didn't like the third one. Positioned as the final installment in the iconic series, the film aims to deliver a powerful and chilling farewell to Ed and Lorraine Warren's legacy. The new Conjuring film appears to center on the infamous Smurl haunting, a chilling case from the 1980s involving Jack and Janet Smurl and their family. After moving into a duplex in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, the family claimed they were tormented by an escalating series of paranormal events, including violent attacks, unexplained noises, and terrifying manifestations. The case drew national attention and became one of the Warrens' most controversial investigations. This installment likely explores the psychological and supernatural toll the haunting took on the family and the Warrens' efforts to confront the dark force behind it. So, yeah, I agree with everything you said. Hopefully the trailer isn't ruined by, or the movie isn't ruined by things from the trailer. But I'm always excited when there's a new Conjuring movie. I always said, who cares about the spin-off movies if the Nun and the Annabelle movies aren't good? The Conjuring 1 and 2 are fantastic. The third one wasn't that great, but this one
Was not.
hopefully is a good comeback from that.
I agree with everything you said. I mean, either way, we'll be there and we'll be reviewing it for you.
For sure. That'll be an opening day one. And the good news here is that Evil Dead Burn, the new standalone entry in the Evil Dead franchise, has been given a release date. The bad news is it's another year away.
It's like GTA 6.
Right? Seriously, that was a blow. In an interview with Bloody Disgusting, director Sebastian Vanek said, "I told the studio that I wanted to make a nasty film, a film that hurts, from which you come away tested." And Vanek told Kenobi, speaking about his Evil Dead project, that I'm going to put all the horror I have inside. It will be cathartic. And if I haven't ruined my career and I can continue to make films behind it, I will move on to something other than horror. Evil Dead Burns hits theater July 24th, 2026. I mean,
Again, we'll be there.
We'll be there. Again, we know nothing about the movie yet, but this dude's promising. He's saying that he's going to make a movie so nasty that if he has a career after it, he'll move on to something other than horror. So I mean,
I'll wait.
right.
I'll wait to see.
But hopefully he lives up to that, because as an Evil Dead fan, like you can't. You look. Even Bruce Campbell will say, "You step up to the plate. Evil Dead's got to be Evil Dead." So this movie better have some fucking balls. You say something like that. You know what I mean? Seriously.
And hopefully we can get like Evil Dead Rise, and get a preview of that. That was a fun event where they had
Oh yeah,
up in, was it King of Prussia
King
we
of
went
Prussia,
to?
the King of Prussia
Yeah,
IMAX.
yeah, that was fun.
Amazing.
And
That
you
was
got
really cool.
you won like a big prize.
I forgot about. I didn't want to say that on the podcast. You were like, "Stop being timid," but yeah, that was cool. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. The last installment was pretty good.
I agree. For sure.
And if you haven't, we have reviewed that episode. Go back. I don't even know what number it is, but
Just go back and listen to all our episodes.
no, that's true.
It'd be cool. You'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's talk about Sinners now.
All right, Sinners premiered on April 3rd, 2025, and hit U.S. theaters on April 18th via Warner Brothers Pictures. I wrote this a little while ago, so it's earned more at this point. But as of last week, which would have been, I don't know what the hell's the date, would have been as of like May 4th, May the 4th be with you, has already earned $200 million globally.
It's fucking killing it.
It's making it one of the top earners of 2025. I think it's top 5. And so getting into the movie here, Clarksdale, Mississippi. It's October 15th, 1932. Michael B. Jordan plays both Smoke and Stackmore. Identical twins, World War I vets, and ex-gangsters are back from years with the Chicago outfit. They roll into town with some dirty money and a dream. Buy a sawmill from a racist scumbag named Hogwood, played by David Maldonado, and flip it into a juke joint. Which I gotta say, I mean, I'm familiar with stuff from the 20s and 30s. I mean, I guess not that familiar. I'd never heard of a juke joint.
No, I hadn't either, but I like the idea of it now that I saw what it was.
Their young cousin, Sammy Preacher Boy Moore, played by Miles Cannon, blues prodigy with a preacher for a father, joins them, and his dad, Jedediah, played by Saul Williams, warns them that the blues is the devil's music, but Sammy's not trying to hear that. He's chasing something bigger.
I'm sorry for the weird noises I'm making over here. I nearly fucking choked on a hit. My fault.
But also, I didn't mention this, but throwback, the movie starts with Preacher Boy just walking in with a busted guitar and just blood all over his shirt into the church and when his dad's doing service.
And at that point, when I watched the movie, I thought, I'm like, oh, not another one of those movies that's like a day earlier. But
yeah. And I thought he was going to just like kill him, is what I thought was going to happen. Anyway, so the crew comes together quick. Pianist Delta Slim, played by Delroy Lindo. Seductive singer Pearline, played by Jamie Lawson. And Annie, played by Wunmi Musaka. Smoke's wife and cook with a serious belief in the supernatural. Their suppliers, local Chinese storekeepers, Grace, played by Lee Jun Lee, and Bo Chow, played by just Yao. And for muscle, they hire field hand Cornbread, played by Omar Miller. Have you seen Omar Miller in other stuff?
No, but he looks like Forrest Whitaker.
I know, dude. He was The Rock had that show Ballers on HBO. He was on that show as an offensive lineman.
You used to tell me about that show.
I thought for sure that was Forrest Whitaker's son. So yeah, I agree with you. The resemblance is uncanny.
For sure, minus the lazy eye.
Yeah,
he didn't get kicked in the head by a mule yet or nothing, you know. So,
and he looks like he could throw a grown man across the bar with one hand.
Yeah, he got a legit farmhand.
Yeah. It's not all good vibes, though. Smoke and Annie clash over her spiritual practices. She says her spells kept them safe in Chicago, but he's not buying it. They both are still mourning the loss of their baby girl. Meanwhile, Stack reconnects with his old flame, Mary, played by Haley Steinfeld. She's now trying to pass off as white. Their chemistry is fire, but she's pissed he left her behind. And hovering in the shadows is Remick, played by Jack O'Connell, an Irish vampire on the run from the Choctaw hunters like Chaden, played by Nathaniel Arcan, tearing through the countryside and turning clan members like Bert and his wife Joan, played by Peter Germanis and Lola Kirky, into blood-sucking freaks. And opening night at the joint, it's electric. Sammy's playing like a man possessed, channeling spirits through his guitar. The music's so powerful it pulls ghosts into the room, literally.
It transcends, yes.
It breaks the space-time continuum, apparently, because you got people from the past, the present, and the future.
Right.
I need Josh to throw in that Triple H when they introduce WWE. Then, now, forever, together. And that's when Remick shows up with his Turn Clan goons offering money, talent, and a blood deal. The twins tell him to fuck off and get out, basically. I feel like after here is pretty much all heavy spoilers for the movie.
If you haven't seen the movie, this is the point where we would kindly like to tell you to just leave us a nice thumbs up on the episode, and we'll let you know that. I'll let you know right now. I like the movie. John, did you like the movie?
Yeah, I did like the movie. I won't save my score, but
Right.
So this portion will give the Siskel and Ebert 2 thumbs up.
Right. Yeah, it gets an approval from us both. We both very highly approve of it.
You should definitely check it out.
Check it out.
You should definitely check it out, then come back.
Yeah, for sure. If you have seen the movie, keep listening.
Need some elevator music or something from Josh to get us over to the spoilers. But so that's your last warning for spoilers. And getting back to the story here, twins tell him to fuck off, like I said, but shit goes sideways fast.
Yep.
Mary meets Remick outside. She's trying to help get money for the twins and try to figure out like why they're actually there. He ends up turning her. She struts back in, seduces Stack, and bites him. Also, I want to mention.
I knew that was coming when it happened, but I was like, they're not going to do it this way. And I was like, God damn it, they did. They did.
There's a lot of pussy eating in this movie.
A lot of talking about it, too.
And a lot of talking about it. I was not prepared for that.
The way Tarantino has feet in his movies.
Yeah, right.
Pussy eating. But no, seriously, like the way that Stat got turned, or bitten rather, when he gets bitten, I was totally like, I saw it coming. And then I was like, this is where it's going to happen, isn't it? And then it didn't happen. And then it happened. And I was like, oh, here it is. You know, like I wasn't expecting it. Then I wasn't. And then it happened. But it happened in a way that I was like, damn, that was pretty in your face. And like, yeah, that happened. That just happened. You know, it's one of those turning moments in a movie where you go, oh, yeah, like shit just turned sideways fast.
And Smoke unloads a gun on her. It does nothing. She vanishes and Stack dies. Then things spiral even more. Cornbread gets jumped and turned. Bo's taken out too. Soon Remick's crew is feasting on the town and building an army. Grace and Bo's daughter Lisa, played by Helena Hugh, becomes a bargaining chip. And in a panic, Grace invites them in. I was telling you the guy I was with when she was like, paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of then come in then motherfucker, something like that. The guy next to me, as soon as Remick turns around, he just yells out, oh, he's like, word? Everybody started laughing. I hate when people talk during movies, but I was like, that's a pretty good chime in.
Awesome, yeah.
But oh jeez, I lost my place talking about Remick coming in. So in a panic, Grace invites him in. That was a big mistake because the horde floods the bar. Annie, Delta Slim, and Grace go down fighting. Mary watches Annie die and bails, heartbroken. Smoke, Sammy, and Perline make a break for it, but Remick and the Vamp Stack corner them. Smoke and Stack beat the ever-loving shit out of each other for a while. Sammy and Perline fend off Remick. Perline's bitten and tells Sammy to run. He doesn't, because why does anybody ever listen in a horror movie when they get told to run? They have to just stand there for a while. Instead, he bashes his guitar across Remick's skull, and just when things look grim, Smoke appears and drives a stake through Remick's black heart, and then the vampires burn at sunrise. In a final act of vengeance, Smoke ambushes Hogwood and his clan crew at dawn and kills them all, but it cost him his life. And I felt like this moment, I brought this up to the people I saw it with, and they're like, yeah, I was thinking of Gladiator.
Yep.
When Russell Crowe's like going through the wheat field with his hand. It felt like that.
Scene. It was a good scene. When he looked over and saw her sitting there breastfeeding, I went, oh, really? Like, it was a touching scene. It was really nice.
Yeah, and if you're like, oh, what the fuck? We already said spoilers.
Yeah.
I feel like thanks to Remick, he was prepared to kill those clan members.
Yep.
In a way, he helped them. He dies seeing Annie and their daughter in a final vision of peace. Sammy, broken but breathing, stumbles back to his father's church that we saw in the beginning. And the fucked up part is Smoke and Stack, they were telling him when they took him, oh, don't worry, we'll bring him back in one piece. Jedediah begs him to give up the blues and find redemption. Sammy says, nah, grabs his guitar and walks out into whatever comes next. And then after that, we cut to 1992. And
mid-credits, by the way. Cut to mid-credits.
Yeah.
1992.
Yeah, the guy next to me, actually, I was telling you, left.
Yeah, it sucks.
Before that. I was like, damn, he just missed all that. So we cut to 92, and old Sammy, played by Buddy Guy, actually, is living in Chicago, a blues legend like Buddy Guy. Stack, still young and undead, shows up with Mary. You know, they had the perfect like 90s outfits.
And the rings and jewelry and shit, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
And it turns out that Smoke spared him that night and made him swear to leave Sammy alone. And they offer Sammy immortality. He declines. They leave, and Sammy whispers that he's still haunted by that night. But until the sun set, it was the greatest greatest day of his life. And Stack agrees because he said it's the last time he saw Smoke, the last time he saw the sun, and first time he ever felt truly free. And before we get into our review, I want to talk a little bit about the vampires and for why they were specifically Irish.
Okay.
In Sinners, the choice to make the vampires Irish isn't random. It's razor sharp move that ties historical trauma to the film's supernatural horror. Through Remick, played by Jack O'Connell, director Ryan Coogler weaves a complex parallel between the two marginalized histories, the Irish colonization and black suffering in Jim Crow South. And that's like the thing is like Remick, when he comes to Smoke and Stack, is telling them like basically the stuff that was done to them. Yeah. Telling them that, you know, talking about the Klan, they're never going to let you have this place. They're going to kill you. Like, they're never just going to let you have this and leave you alone no matter how much money you have.
Right.
And he isn't just a monster. He's a product of violence, an immigrant survivor of British rule. He's seen his people brutalized, starved, and displaced. His vampirism becomes a cursed legacy passed down from that trauma. Coogler draws a bold line between Remick's past and the South's legacy of slavery and segregation, showing how both groups were dehumanized by systems of power, even as they were often pitted against each other. And Remick tries to infiltrate the juke joint and seduce Sammy. It's not just blood it's after, it's culture, talent, soul. He sees Sammy's music not just as art, but as a gateway to something older and deeper. Something Remick wants to own, manipulate, and weaponize for his own redemption. It's cultural appropriation taken to a literal predatory extreme. And Coogler has said that he wanted Remick to come from a time before race as we define it today, a world of empire, not skin color. That timelessness lets Remick comment on cultural struggle without being reduced to a caricature of whiteness. Excuse me. He's a relic of colonial pain, but also a warning about what happens when pain becomes entitlement and trauma becomes hunger. The film subtly weaves Irish folk music influences in Groenson's score, echoing the banjos, jigs, and field hollers that share DNA across cultures. The fucking scene with Rocky Road to Dublin was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was.
And fucking Michael B. Jordan was river dancing his fucking ass off as a undead vampire. I remember that was the thing that caught my eye. I was like, God damn, he's fucking killing it.
He's killing it, yeah, motherfucking dance.
And then I was like, I wonder if like how much practice how much practice I wonder did he have to do just for like that scene?
Right. Which is only like 2 minutes of the movie, you know?
Yeah. Like Black Blues, Irish music is born of suffering and survival. By connecting those threads, Sinners doesn't flatten cultural differences. It shows how rhythm and resistance can echo across oceans and generations. By casting the vampires as Irish, Sinners doesn't just create a cool origin story, it makes a statement. The film insists that history isn't dead, it walks, it feeds, it lives inside the systems we still haven't dismantled. Whether it's colonization, the colonized becoming colonizers, or the oppressed turning into the oppressors, Sinners shows us that if we don't face our shared past, it'll consume us all one drop at a time. And I'll let you get into your review first.
Well, you know, nicely said. And I want to say before I get into my review that the first thing the one thing that I liked about this movie was, I guess due to the fact that it's a period piece and doesn't take place in modern time, I truly loved, the purist in me loves, that it was just a traditional vampire story. All the normal rules applied. Garlic, crosses, you know, holy water, like all that shit. The sunlight, like, I loved that. I loved that there wasn't like, what's going to be the rule this time? What doesn't kill them? Like, I loved that he played it classic and that it was just a straight classic vampire tale. So that was about the vampire element. That was what was great about that to me. But goddamn, this is a movie. I have to say that I was honestly, man, I was blown away. Like, honestly, with all the buzz around Sinners, I went in curious but cautious. And what I walked out with,
like we always do when we hear that,
right? But dude, when I walked out, it was you know, it was one of the most fulfilling theatrical experiences I've had in years. Honest to God, this film left me not just satisfied but smiling. I was walking out of the theater smiling. It is rare to see a movie that's so confidently celebrates life, joy, and freedom while simultaneously questioning what those concepts really mean. Are we truly free? And what is the cost of that freedom? Sinners doesn't shy away from the hard truth. Freedom isn't free, and every choice comes with consequences. Director Ryan Coogler has spoken about one of the common misconceptions about the American South is that the slower pace of speech is often mistaken for a lack of intelligence. And he counters that stereotype by showing just the opposite, that the South is rich in depth, warmth, and sophistication. Sinners embodies that. It paints the South as not just a setting, but as a soul with all its contradictions, its beauty, and its buried scars. And I got to talk about Michael B. Jordan. He delivers a knockout performance. What the fuck? In dual roles, portraying two brothers who are both intellectual, ruthless, and complex. He embodies each character with entirely different energy, different voices, accents, body language. Two men shaped by the same world, but responding to it in sharply contrasting ways. It's a performance that proves Jordan is not only up for a challenge, but capable of meeting it with range and precision. The supporting cast is equally impeccable. Every actor fits the role perfectly and brings authenticity and charisma to the screen. One standout for me was Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim. My favorite line in the entire film came from him. Y'all smell something? Might have shit myself. and somehow, in the context of the scene,
everybody laughed in the theater I was in.
Right, but that's the thing, right? In the context of the scene, it lands with such deadpan sincerity. That's why it's laugh out loud funny because it never tries to be. You know, that's the strength of this film. Its dialogue, it feels lived in and natural and memorable. And what really impressed me was the film's ability to balance tones. Sinners is almost two movies in one, yet it blends those identities seamlessly. Think Malevolence. I'm always going to name drop that whenever I can. An underrated indie gem where a heist story collides with a slasher horror story. Sinners begins as a raucous, joyful, and sun-drenched celebration of life, liberty, and rebellion. Then, almost without warning, it descends into something far darker, grittier, and more brutal. The shift is jarring in the best way. And it puts you on edge and refuses to let up. And the women. John, let's talk about the women of the movie. Seriously, they're fierce, smart, powerful, and not just surviving, but fighting alongside the men, right? Like never sacrificing their femininity or strength. They reminded me of icons like Ripley and Sarah Connor, fully realized characters who refuse to be boxed in by gender tropes, especially when the world gets ugly. That's a big part of the movie for me. I really like that. The other thing, of course, I'm going to mention is the soundtrack. It's another standout. I've always had a deep love for blues music and bluegrass and folk music, and this film taps into that. And
the country like rock to it a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
I know it has some kind of
Americana.
I guess more what's it? Outlaw country.
Outlaw country. There you go. Well, it taps into that. The film taps into that Americana soul beautifully. At times, it feels like "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou." You know, raw, earthy, rich with history. But when the action ramps up, the score shifts into full-blown metal. Did you realize that? Did you notice that? Like, feeling the chaos, like when shit's on fire and everybody's fighting, there's like this guitar and drums, and it's it's fueling the chaos with intensity and adrenaline. It's a bold mix, and it works. It's the heartbeat of the movie. And I guess to conclude my review, I'll just say that Sinners in a Word is incredible. Honestly, I can't think of a single thing that didn't work for me. I have thought about it. It's been in my head since I've seen it. I'm honest to God tempted to give it a perfect score. But 10s are earned over time, and I've said that before. So let's see how it holds up. For now, I'm going to give it the highest fucking possible score that I can because I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm giving Sinners a 9.5 out of 10. It's poignant, wild, bloody, soulful, smart, and unforgettable. I fucking love this movie, John.
And for my review, like even if I have the same thing you said, I still just keep it in there just to show how we kind of, because the funny thing, you start talking about Michael B. Jordan, and I mentioned him pretty early. I wrote here, Sinners is a damn impressive piece of filmmaking. It's well shot, beautifully scored, and anchored by a phenomenal dual performance by Michael B. Jordan. I didn't know that going in, that he was playing both roles.
I didn't either. Dude, when you first see him at the beginning, I don't mean to interrupt you, my fault. When they're standing there leaned against the car, I was like, is he both brothers?
That's what I did. I didn't know that going in, and I was like, yeah, because I did the same thing. I was like, is that Michael B. Jordan? Then I was like, did they just did they get somebody and like made him up to look really close to him? And I was like, no, but apparently it was very hard to pull all that off.
I believe
because they said
yeah.
the hardest part, they said it was easy when they didn't have the action scenes together, but because like you never see that in a movie. And they said it was hard to kind of pull off those action scenes when they had to fight each other. But
interesting. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I mean, I heard something similar.
Yeah, and I said Michael B. Jordan, that man doesn't get nearly the credit he deserves. Playing both Smoke and Stack with such nuance and energy, he made it look effortless. He brings a weight to both characters, makes their bond and eventual conflict genuinely hit. And I feel like he's one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood right now. Like everything he's in, he fucking kills it.
Agreed.
Like Black Panther, man, like Killmonger was cooler than T'Challa. The symbolism throughout is rich without ever feeling forced. The cultural parallels between the Irish and Black American experience are handled with care. It adds real depth to what could have just been another vampire flick. But no, this one's got emotional weight, grief, rage, joy, and even hope all threaded throughout the stories in ways that feel honest. And like you said, humor. There was another scene that is not meant to be humorous, but everybody laughed, but it does come off humorous, is when he's having that gladiator vision.
Yeah.
And Hogwood's like starts talking. He's like, "I'll give you money. How much money you want?" And then he just shoots the shit out of him.
Yeah.
There was a mixture of fuck yeah and like people just like laughing in the theater.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
But it's
why
such
would
a
you
genuine
open your
reaction.
mouth? Just
Yep. right.
but like everybody wanted to see that dude die. Yeah, the vampires are kind of everywhere again, it feels like, and it's easy to feel burned out by the trend again, but Sinners dodges that bullet.
Dude,
it
yes.
feels fresh because it's saying something while still being entertaining as hell. My only real gripe, I do feel like it runs a bit long. I honestly, it wasn't bad, it just was more subdued than I hoped was the final fight. Like, I just felt like, okay, this shit's really going to pop off. And it does, but I just feel like it could have been bigger, but that's just minor stuff. This one's a standout. I'm going to give it an 8.2 out of 10.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see it again.
So I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna watch the shit out of all the extras, and I know you're gonna have it on your account.
Yeah, I'll have it on Vudu.
Times.
I'm just running out of play. I've got to that point where I don't have space for movies, so I'm trying to buy physical media of stuff that I can't get.
Yeah,
You were telling me about Shout Factory, right?
That
When it was
sale
having
on
the sale,
Amazon, yeah.
and you can't buy on Fandango, Vudu, whatever it is now. You can't buy Behind the Mask. So I was like, okay, now's my time to buy it. But,
And you get a cool cover too.
yeah, but what's a little shout out for Behind the Mask?
Love that movie.
It's all about Sinners, but I find a way to bring it in. Anyway, yeah. So again, we both say check it out.
For sure.
Thanks to all the horror hounds and smokers out there for tuning in. As always, make sure to follow us online, Eye on Horror 420. Subscribe to our YouTube. Like and subscribe that. We want money, so help us get that. But yeah, High on Horror 420. You can get that on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X. I think that covers them all. TikTok, maybe? Yeah, I think whatever. Anyway, we're trying to get out of here. Make sure to tune in next week, and we'll have a review of you for Wolfman 2025 edition, not the old black and white one. And I guess that'll about wrap her up. Catch you later.
Bye, everybody.